You ready? You're listening to the Real Pineapple Podcast Network. Hope you're having a great weekend. There we go. Hope you're having a great start to your weekend. Pardon me. It's Friday night. Sorry for getting started a little late, everybody. I passed out. I won't even lie to you. It's been a tiring week. And I say that as someone who is currently unemployed, not doing anything outside of a lot of this, outside of just watching stuff and reviewing stuff for y'all. But yeah, I'm having a good start to my weekend. I've got before I kind of dive in here into the show proper. I just want to talk about a few things myself. One of the things I want to talk about is I am going to be out of commission here starting the 18th. I'm not going to be streaming until that next week. This first stream will probably be back on the 26th or 27th. I'm out of town for a wedding. My one of my baby sisters is getting married, which is a trip to say out loud. So yeah, I'm gonna be out of state for a few days, but really excited to witness that event and get a little get out of town for a little bit. It's never a bad idea to get out of town. Sometimes it's nice to just kind of reset a little bit. So yeah, so I'm excited. I'm excited to go ahead and check that out. And yeah, so I'm excited for that. But yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and be out of town from, like I said, Friday or Thursday, pardon me, from Thursday to like through that following Monday. But I always like to take a day or two to kind of reset and hug the cats because I know that's going to be the hardest part. It's always the hardest part of vacations, leaving them. So yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. But in the meantime, I will have a couple reviews up for y'all to go ahead and check out. I'll have a review up for Twister and Twisters on Thursday morning. So I'm not going to leave y'all without anything to go ahead and watch or watch or review, listen to. Pardon me. Can you tell I just woke up a little a little scatterbrained? But gonna have reviews up for Twister and Twisters next Thursday. I'm really excited. I'm going to have a review for this new Kiki Lane film that she just did called Dandelion. Gonna have a review up for that on Tuesday, along with a corresponding interview with the director of said film, Nicole Regal. I'm interviewing her on Monday. That's gonna post on Tuesday. Really excited to get that out to y'all. I'm gonna have a review up for this indie film Goldilocks and the Two Bears. I have interviews with several of the cast for that. So I'm really excited to bring that to y'all. That's going to be up on Wednesday. So a lot of content dropping here over the next week. So really excited to bring some of this stuff to y'all that I've been working on. That's been in the bank for a little bit. So yeah, so lots of stuff coming out soon. And then, of course, the following week, the week of the 22nd, I'm also going to have my review. Probably do it Saturday, just to give some space to the other stuff, because a lot of content coming out the week of the 22nd. I want to give you all a chance. So I'll probably have my review up for Deadpool and Wolverine on Saturday or Sunday. But I'm also going to have a review up for seasons 1 and 2 of Loki. And X-Men Origins Wolverine as well to go along with that. So a lot of stuff, all the things coming out here. What up, Afternoon Tune? I think the Afternoon Tune is streaming right now. So shout out to them. And actually, speaking of the afternoon tune, I'm going to be on the afternoon tune tomorrow, talking about my best of and worst of. Since we're a little halfway over the year, I'm going to go ahead and be talking to them about what I've been loving so far, what I've been hating so far. I'm going to check out a few movies tomorrow. I'm going to check out Challengers tomorrow. I'm probably going to try to watch Ghostbusters Frozen Empire tonight. And then Boy Kills World tomorrow. I've already checked out a couple movies this week that I've really liked. So yeah, I'm gonna go through and redo my list. And yeah, so a lot of stuff, y'all. A lot of stuff come up over the next couple weeks. And then I think the week of the 29th, I'll probably do it. Gonna have a review up for season 4 of The Boys. Yeah, really excited to get through season 4 of The Boys. I haven't started it yet. I've been waiting for the episodes to drop so I can catch up, because I hate waiting. I hate waiting for new episodes. It pisses me off. Netflix has spoiled me. So I've actually avoided all spoilers. That's like my superpower. I'm very good at being able to avoid spoilers. So I'm very excited to go ahead and be able to talk about that. But yeah, so I've got quite a few things coming out here. So yeah, y'all make sure you're subscribed everywhere so that you know when these things are dropping. But with all that out of the way, with all of that said, I'm gonna go ahead and get into the bulk of the episode. And actually, before I say that, before I get into that, let me throw out one more thing. Let me see if I can pull up the clip here. Just because the amount of people who are freaking out about this is just like, I don't get it. I don't understand why this is such a thing. So if y'all remember, what's his name, the douche, Harrison Butker, current Kansas City Chiefs kicker. How he's still on the team, I don't fucking know, to be completely honest. But he had that whole commencement speech, which was, absolute bullshit, talking about how, yeah, you've graduated. Now it's time to be mothers, and that is all. That's all you're supposed to be if you're a woman. That bullshit. So we had Venus and Serena Williams, along with Quinta Brunson from why am I blanking on her name? Abbott Elementary. Good grief, I am out of it today. But they were all up on stage at the ESPYs yesterday, which I haven't watched the ESPYs in a minute. I heard Serena did a good job though, which is not surprising. She's horribly talented, fine as hell too, but not surprising at all that she would crush it. And she took a completely fair shot. She took a completely fair shot at Harrison Butker, saying that he shouldn't be allowed to enjoy women's sports, considering what he said. And the amount of people, who talked about how trashy it was and how classless it was. Okay, so look, I've talked about this before. Do I think double standards at points are used, just to score white knight points and are completely unwarranted? I think people are digging. I've talked about this with Taylor Swift fans. Absolutely. But Harrison Butker made that commencement speech not about the people who work their asses off to get their degrees, but to go ahead and basically be like, you're a woman, you need to be subservient to your partner. Ideally a male partner, let's be honest, because that's exactly what he was getting at. And so Serena takes a well-deserved shot at him. And let's be clear, she took a shot with him in the fucking room. She didn't say this behind her back. She didn't say this on a podcast. She didn't say this in the papers. I realize how old I just sounded by saying paper. I know some of you don't know what that is. But she said it essentially to his face with him being there. So I don't understand why all of you are so like some of you are so stupid and being so ridiculous about it. Yeah, she had every right to retort. Serena Williams is one of the most successful athletes. Fuck the female. She's one of the most successful athletes ever. Harrison Butker will be a dude. Let's be real. No one remembers kickers. Like, unless it's Justin Tucker. Most people don't know, couldn't name a kicker. Most people can't name the kicker that helped win Tom Brady Super Bowls. Adam Vinatieri, by the way, is one of them. But for people to be so shitty about it is so ridiculous, and the amount of people who are calling her classless. I'm gonna be real, and I know people don't want to hear this shit, but it's my podcast, so I don't care. If this was, I don't know, Caitlin Clark, let's just say, would y'all care as much? And that's a more of a rhetorical question, because Caitlin Clark, she's the toast right now of the WNBA. Even though I've gone on my WNBA rant, I'm not going to do it again here tonight. But is it because she's black? Is that that's part of it, right? The fact that you have a black woman standing up to a sexist piece of shit white man. And I've already talked about it, but I'm going to bring up again. Pat Mahomes, dude, I hope the Chiefs lose this year, just because of how lackadaisical you were. Like, that's not someone on your offensive line. That's your fucking kicker. You get another fucking kicker. And for him to be so like, well, we're not always going to agree. I'm sorry, you're married to a woman, right? I'm sorry, you have a kid, right? Son, I believe. So wouldn't you want your son to actually have a good perspective of women and think that women can do fucking anything and not just be held to the home? Like, you would think, right? And look, I know some people go, well, that might mess with Pat Mahomes' money. So the fuck what? Because let's call it what it is. While I'm not the biggest fan of LeBron James, he's been willing to sacrifice his money, literally putting his money in where his mouth is, to speak about Black Lives Matter, to speak about women's rights, to speak about, other political type things. And Pat Mahomes is in the middle of a 10-year, like $500 million contract, $500 million, billion with a B. That motherfucker is gonna be just fine, and that's not even including his endorsements. So people acting like this is some great, tragedy that, oh my god, if something were to go wrong, like, no, dude, I'm sorry, man. Like, you have that platform, and as a black man, I would expect better from you, to be quite frank. And while Michael Jordan will always be my GOAT, he will always be my GOAT. That is my biggest axe to grind with Jordan, is that he always had something to say about, like, he had nothing to say when it came to political matters. He would always just keep his mouth shut and just not say shit because he didn't want to fuck around with his money. And I think that's cowardly as shit, to be quite frank. So, yeah, I think it's fucking disgusting. And I've like, that's been something about LeBron that I will always give him props for. I always give Ali props for, being willing to go ahead and be persecuted. And let's be real, man. Like you look at people like, like Jackie Robinson, man, like the shit Jackie Robinson's going through. Fucking what's the NASCAR driver, Bubba Wallace, literally going to his garage having a noose hanging there. Like, I'm sorry, Pat Mahomes, you're not dealing with that shit, man. And your money allows you to turn a blind eye to that. So I would honestly expect better from Pat Mahomes. And the fact that he's been so lackadaisical and non-committal on that front, fuck you for that, dude. So yeah, I'm pulling for pretty much anyone else out of the AFC to get to the Super Bowl this year. I'm a fan of Mahomes. I think Mahomes is incredibly fun to watch. Seems like a nice dude, but for you to be such a chicken shit when it comes to something like this, fuck you for that, man. All right, I've got my rant out of the way. So actually, real quick, I'm gonna take a very quick 5-minute break and go refill my drink. And we will go ahead and we will get into the podcast proper. We will start off with a trailer breakdown of Captain America: Brave New World. I will be right back. Be right back in about 5. All right, and we're back. All right, everybody. So let me see here. I actually have not done this before, so this is going to be an experiment. We will see how this goes. But I'm going to go ahead and try to do this so we can check this out together. I'm assuming most of you have seen the Captain America Brave New World trailer. If you haven't, what's wrong with you? How the fuck have you not watched it yet? Like, seriously, how have you not watched it yet? But I'm going to go ahead and try to put this in the little window here. See if I can do it. Let's see. Let's see. Sure. All right, let's watch the trailer real quick for Captain America, Brave New World. Whoo! Let's go! Oh, I'm so ready. I'm so hyped. So fucking hyped. So, all right. Let's talk about it, y'all. Man, oh my god, I'm so excited. I'm so goddamn ready for that fucking movie. Okay. So it's come out February 14th. So a nice Valentine's Day present for me. Luckily, my partner likes seeing these because, yeah, I will be seeing this. Actually, that's the 14th, so could see it on the 13th. But so quite a few things to actually talk about. So I'm gonna go off of timestamps here. So if you'll bear with me. So one thing I really like about the trailer and how it opens up is we're reestablishing our world. We know, of course, now, as you can tell by my my name on here, Captain America is black. Whether some of you fuckers want to admit it or not, Captain America is a black man. And his name is Sam Wilson. And one thing I gotta say that I don't think he gets enough credit for, Anthony Mackie's awesome. Anthony Mackie has proven to be a great fucking actor. Independent of the MCU, whether it's of course 8 Mile, but whether it's in The Banker, he's really great in that. Outside the Wire, really great in that. Why am I blanking on the name of the show? Altered Carbon, really great in that. Pain and Gain, fucking great in that. The Night Before, one of my favorite Christmas movies ever. I think the chemistry between him, Rogan, and Joseph Gordon-Levitt is fucking absurd. And then Twisted Metal, which I still need to watch Twisted Metal. I haven't gotten around to it. It's on the list, people, because I do want to do a review of that before season 2 comes out. I think they start shooting season 2, I believe, in a couple in like a month or so. I think they start on that. So, but with that said, Anthony Mackie, he has been a loyal fucking soldier, especially when it comes to the MCU. He debuted in 2014 in Captain America: The Winter Soldier, and basically, just over a decade later, he not only gets to take over the mantle, but he gets to lead his own fucking film. That's an incredible achievement, and I think people, the assholes who are poo-pooing on the fact that it's not Steve Rogers, Marvel's gone woke, that bullshit. You're undermining this motherfucker's achievement. The fact that he went from being Sam Wilson the Falcon, going through Civil War, going through Endgame, going on to the first, which I think people forget because Marvel's put out so much content on Disney Plus. The first thing that Marvel put out on Disney Plus exclusive was Falcon and the Winter Soldier. And I don't give a fuck what anyone says. There are award worthy performances on that show. Anthony Mackie, I actually bought the 4K special edition of the show just because you never know when streamers are going to pull shit randomly. Look at HBO Max, look at Disney Plus with that film Crater, just as one example. Buy physical media, kids. It's a good idea. But I love what Anthony Mackie has done in the MCU. I love what he's done outside the MCU. He more than deserves his opportunity. He more than deserves his chance. And even if the film does, 700 million, that's a success as far as I'm concerned. I'm sure the budget on this is probably like 150, maybe 175, but Anthony Mackie deserves his chance, and I think he's going to absolutely crush it. With that said, getting to the actual breakdown, the trailer itself, we of course unfortunately lost William Hurt. May he rest in peace. He was playing Thunderbolt Ross. Even played him as far back as 2008's Incredible Hulk, which is where Thunderbolt Ross made his debut in the MCU proper. So with him being replaced by Harrison Ford, one thing I gotta say right out of the gate, Harrison Ford's a great replacement for William Hurt. Harrison Ford, all due respect, man, because I love Harrison Ford as an actor, and I love Indiana Jones. He seems more engaged in this than he did in Dial of Destiny. I know no one wants to hear this, but Dial of Destiny arguably is the worst Indiana Jones film, and I am no fan of Temple of Doom, and it really hurts my heart to say that, because I wanted Dial of Destiny to be that perfect ending, and it's just not. It's just, especially with what they do with Mutt. Like, I know Shia LaBeouf apparently is a piece of shit, but man, that did not sit right with me, the way that they handled certain elements of that film. But him as Thunderbolt Ross, I actually like Harrison Ford, no mustache. I know Thunderbolt Ross, like, this is one of those rare exceptions where the facial hair being a defining trait of the character doesn't bother me that it's not there. It pissed me off for years that Stephen Amell would never grow the goatee, unless he was on that fucking island in flashbacks. That's the closest we would ever get. It always bothered me that he would do that, and yet here I'm like, doesn't bug me. It just doesn't, because I think Harrison Ford, I've seen him with a mustache. It just looks a little weird, to be honest. I actually like Harrison Ford without the mustache, and him actually them addressing it just first thing in the trailer, going, hey, it's a political thing, that actually makes sense to me. I can actually buy that. So so fair enough. With that said, Captain America and the Winter Soldier, the ending of that show, Sam Wilson officially took on the mantle. Great fucking moment, by the way. I think I've talked about it, but it's my favorite thing the MCU's ever done. More so than Endgame, more so than Black Panther, more so than all three Guardians, more so than Iron Man, more so than Winter Soldier. I like Captain America and the Winter Soldier more than I actually like the Winter Soldier. I think it's a perfectly paced show. I think the performances of Zemo and Kyrie in there are fucking excellent. I think that the commentary that the show has on being Black in this country, especially as we head into election season, I think is profound and paramount. And I think that's something that the show does not get nearly enough credit for. And the speech that Sam gives in that finale is legit one of the best speeches I've heard in any medium. It's fucking profound. It's heavy, and it's something for you to chew on. It's something for you to think about and just kind of go like, damn, this is like this, it's uncomfortable in how correct it is. And Wyatt Russell, man, I give him all the credit in the world for being willing to play John Walker and be such a piece of shit in that show, because the way that show evolves and what Walker turns into, he's such a bastard at points. Like, he's such a piece of shit. And the fact that he took on that role, like, knowing that was going to be a thing and that he would have to, deal with that shit, I give him all the props in the world for being willing to, take that heat. So, Falcon and Winter Soldier, it is my favorite thing the MCU has ever done. Yeah, fucking love that show. With that said, I love the fact that this feels like a direct continuation of that world. Um, we get Anthony Mackie. We see him with the shield at multiple points, hammering the fact home that yes, motherfuckers, this is Captain America, whether you like it or not. This is Captain America, and you have to deal with it. I love the way that this is shot too. We're getting that. I would say Marvel's at its best when there's political intrigue. That's one of the things that works so well about both Black Panthers is that you have the political intrigue of not just what happens within the walls of Wakanda, but of course what happens with Namor and how other people outside of the borders of Wakanda view Wakanda. And that's a storyline that's running throughout all the shows and everything, including the introduction of Wakanda in Falcon and Winter Soldier, as far as them coming over to try and capture Zemo of the Dora Milaje. So there's so much interweaving politically that Marvel has been very successful at. And let's call it what it is. I haven't reviewed it yet. I'll review it before before Brave New World comes out. But yeah, Secret Invasion was a miss for me. I don't hate it like a lot of people do, because I saw some people just go like, "Oh my god, it's a doom and gloom, it's the worst thing ever," and it's not the worst thing ever. Anytime Samuel L. Jackson and Don Cheadle, or Samuel L. Jackson and Ben Mendelsohn were talking, having a conversation, I thought it was great. And even the more we get to learn about Nick Fury, I really like those elements. I think that the element of the scrolls, Marvel needs to figure out what the fuck they're doing with the scrolls. And I've been saying this, like I've been very consistent in my "what are we doing with the scrolls" kick. I do like that the scrolls, most of them at least, are in New Asgard with King Valkyrie, because I mean, who wouldn't want Tessa Thompson to tell you what to do? But it is frustrating because I've read a good amount of Fantastic Four. I've read tons of Marvel, obviously, and when you use the scrolls correctly, they can be so fucking fantastic. And I don't know really how much they're even going to touch on Secret Invasion moving forward. Nick Fury in Secret Invasion versus how he is in the Marvels, it really did feel like almost like a 180 for the character. So I if I had to rate Secret Invasion just off the top of my head, because I watched it, I think I finished it like 4 months ago. I just kind of randomly was like, I'm gonna finish it this afternoon. It's like a C, maybe even a C minus, honestly, but it's not something I hated. But the untapped potential of that show is what hurts so bad, unfortunately. This, just off the trailer, I'm like, okay, this is the MCU. This is the political intrigue I'm always down for. One of the things about Sam Wilson that I really love is that he is a Black man who's not super powered, unlike T'Challa. He is a Black man who's trying to navigate multiple worlds. He's trying to navigate the world of just being a Black man. He's trying to navigate the political aspects of being a Black man. He's trying to be Captain America. He's trying to be true to himself. He has to be, honestly true to himself, in the sense of, looking at Isaiah Bradley, played brilliantly by Carl Lumbly in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I'm so happy he's back in this movie. I'm very intrigued by what he's going to get to do. But seeing him talk to Harrison Ford, that's a moment. The fact that he's going to get screen time with one of the biggest actors who's ever stepped onto a set, that's a big deal for Anthony Mackie. And I'm sure he's very aware of how big of a deal that is. But I love this conversation I love the conversation that they have about how we really want to use Captain America as a figurehead to let everyone know that, hey, everything is cool post-snap. And I think there is some conversation to be had there as well about, what the world looks like post-snap, and not just post-snap, but how you begin to fix the world. They talked about how in Captain America and the Winter Soldier, how, so many people, billions of people were just blipped away, and then they're back. And how do you go about getting homes for those people? How do you go about getting jobs for those people economically? What does that do? Like there's so many things that they went into in Captain America and the Winter Soldier about that I really liked. And so now I think what this movie is going to be about is how do you reestablish, this brand new world? How do you establish, allies, whether it's, political, military? How do you go about doing that? I think there's a fascinating conversation or conversations that you can have with that. So I'm horribly excited to see how they get into it there. That now getting into the trailer, getting more into the trailer proper. I appreciate the fact that Thunderbolt Ross, and I'm gonna get to the timestamp here. Where are we at? Like at the 14-second mark, 15-second mark to be more specific. He's running on this whole togetherness aspect. We got to bring everyone together. We have to establish everyone as as one, and it makes sense. It's very trying to mend fences, trying to mend borders, but at the same time, Thunderbolt Ross has this history in the MCU of, let's call it what it is, being a dick. Whether it's pushing the Sokovia Accords or going after the Avengers multiple times. And that's when he was Secretary of State. He wasn't even fucking president at that point. His hate boner for Bruce Banner. Not just because he was sleeping with his daughter, but the fact that he had this, has the powers of the Incredible Hulk. That's very comic accurate about how obsessed he is when it comes to achieving that power. So I'm very curious how Thunderbolt Ross is going to go ahead and kind of break down, because obviously he's going to turn at some point. We all know he's going to become Red Hulk. Marvel's laying that card out, very clearly. That is one thing I will say too, that I kind of hate, is that fucking Happy Meals and like kids merchandise is spoiling shit in comics. It's spoiling shit in movies now. It's so wild how that happens now. But I think we all kind of knew once Ross was president that we would probably get Red Hulk. So not a huge surprise, but it was still cool to see it. But Ross running on this platform is very interesting. At the 20-second mark, Sam is clearly talking to someone. It looks very reminiscent of the setup he had when they were talking to Zemo, which I really like. I like these certain elements that they're clearly pulling from Falcon and the Winter Soldier and Captain America and the Winter Soldier and Falcon and Winter Soldier, the show. I really like the way that they're doing that. I think that's very clever, because it gives you something that's kind of familiar, but it's like a remix of it, which I really like. So I think right here, he's talking to Isaiah Bradley at the 20-second mark, trying to get more information. I'll get back to that. I'll get back to that in a second as to why he is. The other thing too that I love, and I haven't seen this a lot, which is weird that no one's really pointing this out. I think y'all forget how much Harrison Ford was doing political thrillers. The motherfucker did play Jack Ryan in several movies. Air Force One, Patriot Games, Clear and Present Danger. I mean, Harrison Ford does have a knack for doing this shit, and so it feels very much in the Air Force One, Patriot Games, Clear and Present Danger realm, mixed with maybe like a little Olympus Has Fallen. Like it feels like it's in that quadrant, but I really like that because I like the feel. I like the feel of this trailer because of that. Moving on, definitely a international feel there. You can see the the red circles there on those jets at the 26-second mark. Looks like those are potentially jets from Japan. And then a very important beat here. Let me see. I had it. I wouldn't normally be doing this on the on the on the share screen, but I know YouTube is a bit crappy when it comes to their copyright, so I'm just being a little paranoid. So the big thing that I'm just like, thank fuck they're addressing this, and I don't have to hear people bitch about it anymore. At the 31-second mark, that's Tiamat. For those of you that don't remember, Tiamat, that's the celestial from Eternals that was frozen in the middle of the Indian Ocean. And so the rumor is that celestial is made of adamantium. For those of you who don't remember what adamantium is, that's what Wolverine's claws and his skeleton are made out of. And so it feels like that's going to be a very pivotal plot point / going to be like an arms race type thing about who can get to that celestial first and who can go ahead and claim the adamantium, which makes a ton of sense because a large portion of Wakanda Forever were governments trying to go ahead and figure out, like, is there a way we can invade Wakanda and steal the vibranium? I think that's a very interesting running thread. And considering people of color are at the center of the conflict in both cases, it's very interesting. Lends itself to the whole colonizer aspect, which I think is going to get, obviously is going to piss some people off, because some people would go, how dare you? When have people ever tried to steal anything from Black people? Name one time in history. I feel like the movie's going to touch on that. I think that's going to be a very uncomfortable conversation for some people, but a very necessary one. So I'm curious how they're going to get into that. But that also opens up a ton of possibilities. That just leads itself more closely to us getting to more X-Men shit. Obviously, I haven't talked too much about Deadpool and Wolverine on the channel yet because, there's been a couple trailers or what have you. But I do think that the more we get into the phases, especially next year, I think a lot more X-Men stuff is going to slowly start to creep in the MCU, especially as we head into, the next couple Avengers films. You're going to be getting more X-Men stuff. And I think especially with Marvel coming back to Comic-Con. Comic-Con's in a couple weeks, y'all. Which I will be covering Comic-Con this year. I don't know how in depth, but I will be covering Comic-Con. So the fact that there are people who are Feige and company clearly have plans. I think we get an X-Men announcement as far as maybe even a release date, but I think we get an upgraded or a updated timeline at Comic-Con this year. If not Comic-Con, D23. I think things are going to get a little more. I mean, obviously the Jonathan Majors shit threw some Marvel plans into disarray as far as what they wanted to do, but I think we're going to get a little more clear focus as far as where we're heading with some of the projects. I will say that. If not at Comic-Con, then I think at D23. But I like the whole concept of Captain America being it being a military job, because they tried this shit with John Walker. It did not go well. And I think the other thing that people really haven't brought up too often, which again, I think they should, Anthony Mackie did, in some people's eyes, the right thing by giving up the shield to the government. I think me and every other Black person, and really most of my white friends, are like, what the fuck is he doing giving that shield back to the government? That's not his. Even fucking Val, fucking Elaine from Seinfeld was like, it's a moral gray area. It's like, yeah, no shit, don't give him the shield back. And the last guy they gave the shield to fucked it up royally, killed someone overseas, international incident. So I think that, like, Sam is definitely being used as a pawn to go ahead and make, kind of, gloss over that, kind of go like, hey, this Captain America is good. See, like, come on. I think Sam's very aware of that because he feels very hesitant. And I think that considering how the premiere episode of Falcon and Winter Soldier ended, I think the fact of the matter is he's very aware of the fact that he could get screwed again. So I'm curious. I'm very curious how they're gonna play that out. Moving forward here through the trailer, this is the kind of the next big thing. So if you look at the 37-second mark, and I point this out only because I just find it very interesting. So the 37-second mark, there's one spot there, and it's gold, right? It's like a gold circle. So a couple theories, and again, I have no reason. I have no reason to think this. It's just my gut. Is that 10 rings? Is that symbolizing the 10 rings? Is the 10 rings on? Is it on America's radar? It would make sense, given that Shang-Chi's sister is the new head of the 10 rings. Is that on America's radar? Are we aware of terrorist threats that could be potentially coming after us? Or the other thing, is that Madripoor? Because we have visited Madripoor already in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So is that Madripoor? I think that spot in particular, the fact that it's in the trailer, I think that's a very significant thing because that's the one spot that's really highlighted. So I think there's a very clear reason why that's highlighted. I'm gonna say 10 Rings or Madripoor. Yeah, I found that very interesting. That no one's really pointed that out. And then we get to the next spot here. And before I actually get to it, at the 39-second mark, I'm really happy that we get that we have Danny Ramirez as Joaquin Torres, who's going to be the new Falcon, which, fuck yeah, I'm so happy that he is getting his chance to go ahead and be the Falcon this time around. If you remember in Falcon and Winter Soldier, at the end of the episode or at the end of the series, John Walker had torn Sam Wilson's old wings apart and his old suit apart, which is why he ended up getting the upgrade from Wakanda. And he tried to go ahead and give the suit back, and Sam said, "Nah, keep it." So that's how we get the new Falcon stuff. I'm very curious to see what the Falcon suit looks like proper. We didn't get a clear look at it here in the trailer. You get a little bit of a shot, but I appreciate that they're actually going to kind of keep it a surprise. I'm sure we'll see I'm sure that we'll see, a more clear shot in future trailers. Keep in mind, people, this is 7 months away. All right, like this trailer is what, 2 minutes? Just under 2 minutes, minute 51. So the fact that we got this much even, I'm happy with this. So, let's fucking go. Thank you for giving us this much. But moving to that next spot there, we see Isaiah Bradley, Carl Lumbly's Isaiah Bradley, push this guy off against the wall. Keep in mind, he has a super soldier serum. So he fucks this guy up, shoves him against the wall, takes his gun. I love the way that Mackie sells the Isaiah, like truly like someone who looks up to him, loves him. Some of my favorite bits from Falcon and the Winter Soldier were just the conversations they were having. And one of those haunting lines that Isaiah drops about how they'll never let a black man be Captain America. And you look at this trailer and all the political shit that's going on, and it's like they are trying to take this away from Sam. Someone is clearly trying to set Sam up and make sure that he does not get to achieve his potential as Captain America. And I'm loving how they're setting this up. But I have to jump forward just a tad to go back to the Isaiah Bradley thing, because I think it's kind of important. Sorry, I'm zooming through here. Okay, so it's at the 105 mark. So if you notice there, it's a little out of focus, but that's a hand there. And if you notice, it's green. So, couple things there. Um, we know that the leader is in this movie. We know that he is going to be probably the main villain in here. The leader is, of course, played by Tim Blake Nelson, who we last saw in 2008's Incredible Hulk, which is so fucking insane that they're bringing the leader into the fold after all this time. I've told people this for years, and I feel like people like shit on me for it, but it's true. Marvel does treat some of this shit like a comic book, like in the sense of sometimes you get payoff on shit years later, and I think people forget too. And I know I keep saying this, but it's true. We did go through a fucking pandemic, people. I think that 2-year stopgap that we had where the world pretty much shut down, it threw everything off. Like things are still getting back in rotation, and it definitely threw movies and studios off. And that's not including the fucking strike that we just went through this past year. So, so stuff has been in disarray a little bit, and it feels like we're kind of slowly starting to finally get back into a rhythm. But if you remember, at the end of Incredible Hulk, he went ahead and got some of Hulk's blood dripping in his open cut. So I don't know how insane they're going to make his head look, because you can Google people, but the leader, actually, you know what? I think, let me see. Can I share this? Let me see. But in the comics, his head is fucking big as a motherfucker. So, let me see if I can get a shot here. Yeah, that'll work. Let me see. Okay, so you look there. The leader's head is big as a motherfucker. Like that is not a small head. Very big head actually. And so I think what you're gonna see, I think it's gonna be very interesting to see how they utilize him. Number one, but number two, I'm very curious how they're going to kind of get into the effects of gamma radiation, because that's something that they've talked about in She-Hulk, and they've talked about in in Winter Soldier and in Avengers. Like they've touched on the effects of gamma radiation with people trying to replicate the super soldier serum, which is how Bruce Banner became the Hulk originally anyway. So I really love that Tim Blake Nelson is back after all this time. And I think his voiceover is fucking haunting, talking about Sam being a pawn. Getting back to the 106 mark, if you notice, he's taking a picture there, and he's focused on Sam, and Isaiah Bradley. I think that flash, I'm wondering if that camera's been rigged somehow. If you remember, of course, Bucky, you just had to say the words, rusted, frozen, you just had to say all that. I'm wondering if the flash, that camera is somehow rigged to go ahead and unlock Isaiah and go ahead and send him into that Winter Soldier type trance. Because as we know from Falcon and Winter Soldier, the show, multiple black men, multiple black people were experimented on to go ahead and perfect the super soldier serum. And so it would make sense, unfortunately, that those same people would go ahead and also experiment on them potentially using the Winter Soldier protocol as well. Moving forward through the trailer here, at the 108 mark, there's a funeral. So here's a couple things. Could it be Steve Rogers? Yeah, it could be Steve Rogers. He could pass in this movie. My theory, and I don't even want to say it's a long shot theory because it's probably not. If you remember, at the end of Secret Invasion, we had a president, and I'm totally blanking on his name. I haven't watched Ritson. That was it, President Ritson. He went ahead and he declared, basically war on, alien superheroes. He was like, fuck any of y'all basically who have powers. Does he get assassinated to start off this film? Is he revealed as a Skrull? I think both are very likely but I think that's going to go ahead and be the opening to Thunderbolt Ross running for president. Hell, is there a world where Ross is the one who calls in the assassin? Because he is Secretary of State technically before he's president. So is there some government shit where he goes ahead and, you know, gets Ritson off and goes ahead and makes the power play, and that's how he becomes president? That's easily something that Thunderbolt Ross would do. So I could easily see that happening. Let me see. What else did I want to talk about here? I love the callback to Winter Soldier here, where at the 110 mark, Sam is using the shield to go ahead and protect himself against some stun batons. Very reminiscent of Steve in the elevator. Again, talking about certain things that are just getting remixed. But I love that shot. And again, showing Sam's strength. That's two on one. Moving forward here. Let's see. The 115 mark. So we get that silhouette of Thunderbolt Ross talking to people, giving a speech. By the way, people, the whole cherry blossom thing, that's like a thing at DC that's been happening for years. Like, yeah, that's been a thing that's happened for years. Like, there's no significance really to that outside of that. But you see that it goes right from him giving the speech to what is that? To what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 military guys, all with guns, and the guns are aiming up, like they're looking up at something. So my theory is either maybe Sam calls out Thunderbolt Ross, maybe he has some evidence that he knows he's Hulk. We do know, because she confirmed it herself, that Liv Tyler is back as Betty Ross after all this time. She's back in the MCU. So does she bring it up? Does she show up there? But she's going to go ahead and have some sort of role in this. So does he get triggered? And that's what goes ahead and triggers him to become Red Hulk. Because if you fast forward to the 124 mark, it's kind of a blink if you miss it. But if you notice there, that's something red running on top of the White House, which is a great fucking shot, by the way. But that's clearly Thunderbolt Ross, and you can see at the bottom left of the screen, you can see the cherry blossoms there. So he's clearly hulked out. So I'm curious, like, was that the trigger? Was Sam the trigger? Was Betsy the trigger? I'm very excited though. And then the last bit of dialogue that I really want to get to, that I love, because it's clearly a middle finger to all the people who have pissed me off and that feel this way. Ross says, "You might be Captain America, but you're no Steve Rogers." And Sam Wilson just looks at him and goes, "You're right." And I went, "Good." Like, yeah, like, what, like, why? He doesn't need to be Steve Rogers. He just needs to be Sam Wilson. He just needs to be the best Captain America that he can be. And I truly believe that he's going to be the best Captain America that we've ever seen. So I'm hyped. I'm hyped for this movie. Let me see. Was there anything else I wanted to bring up? Oh yeah, there was one other thing I wanted to bring up at the 1 minute mark. I love the use of red in this trailer. I love the contrast of, red being one of the colors in the U.S. flag versus red being this very haunting, very dark, ominous tone to it. I love the way that this is being used, and it's the contrast going to what America's history has been and all of the blood that's been shed in the name of America. I find that very interesting. But if you notice here, the look, even the chair itself, it's very reminiscent of the chair that the leader had in The Incredible Hulk. It looks just like it. Like the setup even is very reminiscent. I think this is probably where either where either Isaiah and other people of color were experimenting on, or potentially this is where Thunderbolt Ross went ahead and struck his deal with the leader to go ahead and become Red Hulk, because clearly they're working together in some capacity. So I really love that. The other thing I wanted to bring up, which I don't think enough people are bringing up, is I think She-Hulk shows up in here. I don't know if she shows up as She-Hulk, but I think She-Hulk does show up, because if you think about Thunderbolt Ross in the comics, who was introduced in the comics back in '08, one of the main reason he was able to be discovered or to become Red Hulk and get the serum was because of Intelligentsia, which is the same group that was torturing Jennifer and got her to snap at that awards banquet she was at. Those are the ones that are trying to steal the power from, trying to steal her blood. So Ross working with those people, that's a very easy way to go ahead and bring Jennifer Walters into here. So even if she's not in here a ton, even if it's just a scene of her like maybe lawyering or talking to Sam or something like that, there's very easily a world where she goes ahead and shows up. Let me see. Was there anything else I want to go through? No, I think that's it. Yeah. So I will be real, y'all. I was gonna go ahead and do like the Agatha breakdown and then my MCU wish list. I think I'll save that for. I think I'll do a stream tomorrow. I'll let y'all know when. But I wasn't expecting to talk about one trailer for an hour either. So so I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up and call this good for the night. But this comes out February 14th. I am hyped to watch this shit. I will be there. I might even get a Captain America costume. Like I might get the full cosplay costume. That's 7 months. That's enough time for me to lose my tummy a little bit and get back in the gym a little bit. So yeah, but I am excited to go ahead and watch this shit. So I hope you all are too. And the fact it comes out during Black History Month too, that's a wonderful just cherry on top of the sundae. So with all that said, y'all, I will be back this weekend. As I mentioned, I'm going to be on the Afternoon Tune tomorrow. If you have not subscribed to my homies over at the Afternoon Tune, you definitely should. Let me share their stuff here real quick. But they're actually live right now. So go ahead and if you're still on, go ahead and check them out. The Afternoon Tune, they are great people over there. They're fucking wonderful. I'm gonna be on there talking on there tomorrow, talking about my best of and worst of. So go ahead and check them out right now. And then tomorrow, I know I'm gonna be on there, but also go ahead and check out my homie Viper Fox. She's gonna be doing a stream probably Sundays, so it looks like, according to her Discord. But go ahead and subscribe to her there because she's fucking great too. So go ahead and check both of them out. They're great and they provide amazing content. Also, go ahead and check out Viper Fox's sale right now. She's doing a sale, summer clear out sale, 30% off of her whole site. So go ahead and check that out at shopviperfox.com. That's shopviperfoxe.com. She's got beanies and shirts and hats all over there right now, art prints. She's got all the things over there. So go ahead and check her out. I'm actually wearing one of her shirts right now. Very comfortable, by the way. Things soft as hell. So shout out to Viper Fox. But everyone, thank you so much for listening. Just one more time, I'm going to run through everything. Tomorrow I'm going to be on the Afternoon Tune. Go ahead and subscribe over there so you know when I'm going to be on. I think it's going to be like 8. I think it's like 6 Pacific, 6 Central, 6 p.m. Central, or like 8 p.m. Central. It's gonna be like, it's like one of the two. But go ahead and subscribe over there to them so you know when they'll be live. I'll be on there talking about my best stuff and worst stuff for 2024 so far. And then what else? I'm gonna be back on here Sunday. I'll be on here. You know, fuck it. I'm gonna be on here Sunday morning. I'll be on here Sunday morning at let's say shit. When do I want to be on Sunday? Let's say 10 a.m. Eastern. So yeah, I'm gonna be on at 10 a.m. Eastern. So go ahead and check me out on Sunday. I'll do a trailer breakdown for Agatha All Along, and then do my MCU wish list proper. Yeah, I'll go. I'll do that Sunday. But everyone, thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. If you watch this live, I appreciate it. Thanks so much for spending part of your Friday night with me. Much love to you. Please stay safe out there. Take care of each other. Give someone a hug. Give someone a compliment. We could all use some more positivity. And never forget, as always. Yeah, man. Thanks. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. Actually, let me ask. What time? I'm sorry, I'm actually chatting with the afternoon tuner real quick. What time tomorrow? But yeah, y'all. Thank you. 8 p.m. Okay, I was right. 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. So, yeah, check me out. Check me out on afternoon tune tomorrow. But I will be back on this channel on Sunday at the 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to talk about Agatha All Along, break that trailer down, as well as doing my MCU wish list. I will have I will go ahead and have my coffee, and I'll be ready to go. I don't know how to raid someone, so I will I will try to do that next time. I'm still young. I'm still young in my streaming days here. But yeah, but everyone, thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for listening. And never forget, as always, to keep it real. I will see you guys tomorrow after the afternoon tune. I will see you back on here on Sunday. Have a great night, everyone.